This is the xgunner light gun. It's popped up recently, seems to be pretty popular. There's a bunch of buttons on here. Here. You can turn the solenoid on or off. This is what shakes the gun. This does not control the rail on top. I haven't had a lot of time to mess around with this. There's some buttons over here as well. These two, I believe, you press at the same time for programming. That's all broken down in the manual. There's an on and off here as well. I believe this, when you pull the trigger, it does a single fire or dual fire. There's an up and down button here, and there's a button here as well. When you do buy this, you'll want to be careful on the batteries you buy. The eject button is here. The reason why I say be careful the batteries you buy is that you'll need to make sure they're button tops. Now, I didn't know that. I do have button tops around, but I'm using them for something else, so I did the solder dab hack. It seems to work. I don't really recommend it. It can be kind of dangerous, but that's what I end up doing to get these to connect. So just be wary of the 1650s that you buy. Also, a lot of 1650s are advertised as having 2500 mAh, 2000 mAh. And if you put them in a charge, you'll find out that they're actually probably 750, 1000. If you want some quality ones, you might want to try a vape shop, such as a vaping battery like that. They seem to advertise a little bit more in the area that they're actually claiming what they're going to be. Anyway, that's your batteries. This does have a charger that it comes with. The charger, you can charge this, but I just recommend getting a 1650 battery charger. It will charge a lot faster. You have the xgunner logo here and here as well. The trigger is decent, which is good. The buttons, not so great. That one's clicky. That one's clicky. That one's clicky. Kind of clicky. It's a little mushy. It's as if the micro switch button is not making good contact, or at least it's shorter than what this is. This same story, it barely feels like I'm pressing anything. Same with this one. It's just mushy. I don't even know if I'm pressing the button. This one's a little bit better on this side. This, nice and clicky. You have an analog stick in the back. Clicky. Now, I don't know if this casing cuts off this analog stick from going all the way up 100% or down. I haven't played any games that required one yet, so I couldn't tell you. D-pad here. This thing is horrible, and you can feel it like just moving around in there. Same thing. It's like I can feel a click there, here barely, here barely, here barely, and the whole thing just rattles. It's not a bad gun for the price at all. Since I've tested it, it's actually pretty good for the price. Quality, I mean, you get what you pay for. I assume you can go through and desolder some of these micro switches, or maybe add some inserts into the button to make it feel like it's clicking more. I don't know. I'll have to tear it down and take a look. I'm not sure. I know this lights up red when you're shooting, so I'm assuming that has some sort of interface with the IR, or this does. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know how that stuff works. The other thing to note is that these are labeled. For example, this is labeled xgunner 1-player. Underneath here are some dip switches, and your receiver has some dip switches that it comes with. You can change these. I'm assuming up to 4 players is probably what you need. and I believe there's 4 dip switches that you can switch for different frequencies. So your gun frequency obviously would need to match your receiver frequency, but you wouldn't want it on the same frequency as another gun. Not only that, it seems that there is firmware for these that you can download, and it comes in a zip file or a RAR file, and it has 1 through 4 for the gun IDs. From what I'm understanding, you also need to flash the ID for the receiver as well if you buy, say, 2 one-player guns. So they might have the same ID, and you'll need a firmware flash the other gun and the receiver as well, I'm assuming. And also double check that the dip switch is not the same as the other one. Or excuse me, the dip switches are not set the same as the one-player gun or whatever. But that's so far my experience with this in regards to quality and just kind of pressing the buttons and that kind of thing. They all work. That's not an issue. It's just, again, if the other side could be like this side, it would be great. Now, in regards to turning this on, we'll just turn it on there at the bottom. You'll get a blue light. You can pull the trigger. It'll rumble. You'll see the red light. Now, this rail does slide, but it only works when it's aimed at the infrared sensors that this thing comes with. If it's pointing at the IRs, that's when the rail solenoid kicks in. But that's pretty much it. Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, I'm a send-in user. Typically, I think I'll be switching over these. There's just some things about the send-in I don't like, particularly the software that it uses, and it's kind of funky when you're holding the gun, trying to navigate through the games, and the gun is on the camera, or excuse me, the camera is the mouse, and you're moving the gun around and it's moving the mouse around. That's kind of annoying. And then the white border isn't a deal breaker, but it just looks cleaner without it.